Good morning, everyone. I hope your trading day went well yesterday. Hold on 1 second here. All right. I found it to be a little bit choppy. I mean, a little bit hard to trade. If you watched yesterday, we did have a red day. Partially, I mean the live trade was red, and partially I was looking back at the recording, and I noticed that like that first trade, it was actually a good trade. I just got greedy and tried to get more than 5 points on it. If I would have just set my take profit for the 5 points, we would have started the day nice and green, and I think we still would have possibly ended up red, but I think a lot of the trades I took after that became sort of revenge trades that I probably wouldn't have taken if I would have started green. Another thing I need to work on, but if you watched if you saw, I added a video after we live streamed. I took one trade that I actually doubled down with a second contract and ended up a little bit green on the day. That's up there if you want to check it out. The trade after the live stream is under videos, not under the live section. Anyway, it is what it is. If you take a quick look here, I was taking a look at the 1 hour chart, and you see we're in this upward channel, but right now we're in a pullback. I think if we end up breaking this here, I believe is yesterday's low. If we end up breaking through that, we may end up testing the bottom of this channel, but ultimately we would expect to start heading back to the top of the channel. Just something to keep our eye on. Also, we made some new lows already. We have an expected move this week of, let me see, where did I put my expected move? Expected move is between this green dashed dotted line and this red one, and the middle of it is right here, and that happens to be the high of the day. High of the from overnight is right on our the center point of our expected move for the week. Something like 2/3 of the time, the week will spend its time between this line and this line, and we are right in the middle of it. So at the moment, that doesn't do much for us, but if we start to head down towards the bottom of, get down to this green line at, whatever, about 40.60, we have to pay attention to it. And if we get up here towards the 42.13, we have to pay attention to it. These are all our R1, R2, R3, are our pivot points. And that is that. The market's going to open in about 2.5 minutes, so we'll get ready for that. And we'll see. I mean, Jerome Powell speaks today, I think, at 11:40 Central. That's 12:40 Eastern. If he doesn't go off script, it shouldn't be particularly big market mover, but I don't know if there's some Q&A also involved in that. If he does start doing some Q&A, that's when things can get volatile. But with any luck, I will not be trading that late in the day. Hopefully, I will be out of here with my bag by 11 o'clock Eastern, and then the rest of the day, Jerome can say whatever the heck he wants, and it won't affect me until tomorrow. But we'll see. I mean, I definitely tend to, if I end this live stream red, I tend to trade until I can get at least back to even or hopefully green. And that usually works out. As long as I keep my head in the game and don't start just revenge trading, I just continue to wait for my setups. But we shall see. This may turn out to be a really, really low volume morning in which we don't even take a trade. But we'll see. So let's just sit back and wait for the opening bell. Market opens in about a minute. For the most part, the overnight was a range from about 134 down to about 113. It's about a 20-point range, so it was pretty tight. So we may find that this is going to be a slow open. The market's about to open right now. And we're open. Open for business. We'll probably just watch it for a while, make sure that we get a bead on what kind of bias we might be looking at. I mean, in the short term, of course, we're coming down, bunch of lower highs, but we don't know what's going to happen because if we look at the overnight, it was kind of a big range. Be watching this pivot point down here. I forgot to change my volume profile here. Change this to today's date. That's our 3-minute 2000 tick. Definitely on a lower volume days and overnight, your tick charts or range charts definitely give you a clearer picture. The time-based charts are kind of ugly when volume is low because they're just knocking out bars 1 minute apart, 5 minutes apart, whatever, as opposed to it reflecting the actual action in the market. What was the level on that? Level on the about 104. 104 is an important spot. Seems like we could get a bounce off the 21 EMA on the 1 hour, or it may take it all the way down to here. We're well below the 105 EMA, which of course is the 21 EMA from the 5 minute superimposed onto this 1 minute chart. 21 EMA is holding on the 1 minute at the moment. It wants to break it. Nope, still having trouble. Lots of wicks. I think she wants to go down a bit. I don't think we're done going down. But this is not a setup yet. Just basically a bunch of chop. Just chopping in this range. We are getting some pretty good wicks, so it may want to continue its way down, I think. But we can't tell for sure. Seems to be some decent resistance right up here around 114, 115. These wicks here may be telling of which direction it wants to go. 5 minutes so far is just a big doji. 5 minute just closed, and that is doji. It's a big doji. Yeah, this 104 area is very interesting. That's what it bounced off of yesterday. Got a ways to go. We're all the way up at 112, 111. Obviously, we'll have to break this 114, 115 range and possibly start heading up. But she looks pretty heavy right now, as far as I can tell. I see some volume building up here, so is that accelerating it, or is that those buyers? Probably a little of both. Nothing to do here yet. Bounced off of that 108 area that we had talked about. That was so far the low. Seems to me there's a lot of congestion here to deal with, so I don't think a clean breakout will occur until we get out of here. So if you're looking for a breakout, you're probably going to have to look at above this area. I suppose you could take the long up to the top of this area, but I think we're going to get, even if we break out of this chop, we're going to end up back in some new chop. But that lines up with the 105 EMA, so once we break out this blue area, maybe we've got some room up to this VWAP here, possibly all the way up to overnight open. I mean, the levels that you might, I mean, this is a level that has to be dealt with. And of course, this up here, somewhere's in this area. These are more ranges than lines, but I'll just put some lines up there. Those are some areas to deal with. So, you know, we can target a pullback to any of these in continuation or just reversals. Still stuck in this box here. Now we're starting to break up. We're getting into this range. We'll get some chop here. So what I'm thinking possibly is once we break above this box, we might see a pullback into it and then take it long. This area doesn't really line up with any of my favorite trading strategies. The pullbacks to these EMAs. I wouldn't like to go long below this 105 EMA. I'd like to wait till we break above it. Now, if we can get a nice rhythm going to the downside, then we can play the bottom of these EMAs possibly. But this is a confusing area for me because of being below the 105 and above the 20 and the 9. The 9 is above the 20, which is a little bit unusual too. So if you look back to this area here, this is one of my favorite trades and a lot of people's favorite trades. Is got a nice aggressive pull down and then work its way down. We get a pull back into the 9 EMA. Wait till it breaches it, and then we go short a tick below the bar that breached it. And you see we had a nice run, and we could have just stayed with this all the way. If you would have just kept your stop at break even, you would have still been in this trade all the way down to the bottom. I like that. They don't always work, of course, so you have to make sure that you manage your stop. I mean, it could have just kept going back and revisited up here, but keep your stop tight because the potential for profit is pretty high. So if you put even a 3-point stop here, and if you're conservative, you can get 5 points, but you could also just trail this thing all the way down. Still just chopping around in this little area here. Could play the short off of the 21 EMA on the 5-minute. That is frequently a decent trade, but my vibe here is this seems like almost of a reversal type pattern. Break, new low, maybe we're heading back up. Yeah, so this wasn't too bad. Let's see. It's not that much. Maybe 5 points is way the hell down here. These bars are not very big. Let's take a look at our ATR. ATR is about 2.5, so we could reasonably expect to get 5 points from a good setup. Just though, you know, it's not carved in stone, but not a bad place to start with your take profit is 2 times the ATR. I don't know. I don't know if she wants to continue up or not. I mean, the 105 is holding. That was certainly good for 2.5 points. Yeah, that trade off of the 21 EMA on the 5-minute is frequently a decent trade. We haven't got to 5 points yet, but you can see it's working. We ran into these 21 EMAs here, so that might have been a good take profit, but it may continue down. It looks like it's going to get you your 5 points. Not quite yet. You could play that 2 different ways, I suppose. You could wait for the break and then go a tick below this bar, but frequently once you get through it and we catch it just on as soon as it breaks below that 105 EMA, you've got a decent move. That did not make 5 minutes. I'm sorry, that did not make 5 points. So you could just play 1 ATR, take to 2.5 points. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, a lot of the price action traders, they're only trading for 1 point. They just do it, over and over and over. Maybe they do it with a couple contracts. Tom Wade, he's going for 10 ticks. That's 2.5 points, but he's in for 5 contracts. Actually, 6 contracts. He gets out at 10 ticks with 5 and lets the 6th one run. And he just, as soon as he gets his 10 ticks on the 5. he moves his stop to break even and then tries to get a runner off of that last contract. And if it takes him out break even, that's fine. That was just the bonus one. That doesn't work well if you're only trading like 2 contracts, because now you've doubled your risk on every single trade for a very likely scenario that you're not going to get a runner. Most runners will fail because they'll come back and take out all the stops before it continues on. So very few runners work. There's your 5 points, by the way. So that was a very nice trade off of the 105 EMA. And we are breaking down again. Back into this range. Quite frankly, I'm not sure why I didn't take that trade. That is one of my favorite trades. You just keep your stops tight. I hope some of you got a hold of that one. Yeah, that lined up nicely because it hit the top of this range here and the 105 EMA. Very likely place for a pullback. I've got 2 more evaluation accounts that are over $2,000 in them, so I need to get those to 3 for a couple more PAs. I'd like to get my total corral of PAs to 20 ultimately. Because think about, especially when they're young, you can make very little on each of those accounts. You figure you make $100 a day on 20 accounts is $2,000 a day. That's pretty amazing. You could do the math if you can actually start generating, $500 per account. That's like $10,000 a day. This is just chop. Maybe it's starting to form a channel, something along those lines. And by the way, this 105 EMA, I generally will only take the first test of it, because the second one frequently will fail. It fails enough that I don't feel comfortable taking the trade. But this looks like it fits pretty well so far. Still rejecting that red line. I'll call it a red line just because I'm constantly saying this is the 105 EMA, which is the 21 EMA on the 5 minute. We'll just call it the red line from now on. Once in a while, I'll remind people what it is, but I wish Ninja Trader did give you an option for like labeling those. Then that would be helpful for the stream, because people could see. I guess I could put like a little legend at the bottom. The red line is this, the green line's this, and the yellow line's that. That's not a bad idea. I think I might do that today. You can see how flat these EMAs are basically. They're just kind of rippling through the middle of this range that we've blocked out. So we'll need it to go one direction or another, break out to the bottom. And, just looking at here, I mean, heck, this is kind of, we've got a lot of resistance all the way up to, like 30. So maybe something above 30 we start moving forward, moving up. Maybe 30, 33, then we start breaking up, but then we get the high of the day here. Yeah, this is garbage. I'd say the only possible good trade was this first breach of the 105 EMA. That lined up nicely with the tops of this here too, so. I'm just gonna watch this. Anybody take a trade yet? You can see that volume's just building right here. We're like right at the top of this high volume node. So you see, if we get through VWAP, we'll be able to move through this low volume node. It'll initially be resistance, but then if we can break through it, it'll move pretty quick to the next higher volume node, which I guess is around here. Then we start running into other sources of resistance. This is actually a second entry long, but we are below the 21 EMA. It'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and away she goes. Chop is even more dramatic on the 2000 tick, just weighing, just tiny little sine wave. Take a quick look at the crude oil. You see there's much better movement in the crude oil this morning. To watch this. Crude oil seems to me like once it starts moving, it tends to stay moving for longer periods of time. So we have some pretty nice moves here. Pull back to this 9 EMA on the crude oil would be kind of nice. Maybe something like that. Stick with our ES right now. Hey, Vin. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad it was small, but yeah, it just feels like a coin flip right now. I wouldn't think that these that people would be holding off for the Powell speech. I mean, that doesn't seem like that's a particularly high impact event unless he goes rogue. But usually he's just reading from a speech. But I don't know if there's a Q&A. Q&A is where things can go off the rails. This trade's sort of setting up here on crude oil. Maybe take a 10 handle on a long here. See if it'll get back to here. This is going to be a problem here, though. I don't know. I wouldn't call this an ideal setup, but it's actually not a terrible setup. But we do have some resistance up here somewhere. That's a big bar. Touching the 21. But yeah, if I go long here, I sure wouldn't want my stop all the way the hell down here. Might consider this a break of this trend. Break. It's not really a new low. Don't know if this is reversing or not. All right, well, we won't mess around with that just to confuse things. But this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I can't trade any of this. I think I might take a little stab here. I'll keep my stop relatively short. Let's see what we get here. It's a little something maybe. That moved so fast it didn't even fill all. That was, oh crap, I had my bracket set for the ES, so that was like nothing, like $46. That was a good trade. And my technical ineptness is what caused that one not to be a big winner. Let's see, that was... Wow, that's a nice move. That's a $200 move. That one should have been, my crude oil is usually like a 25 tick or 25 handle move. And that would have been up here. We wouldn't have made that yet. But we probably would have got out of this bar just because we identified it over here. So that trade, I should have been at about there. So that would have been about $140, I guess. That's where I would have probably put my stop if it would have filled properly. The trade copier is a great tool, but it is really kind of finicky too, because that one filled the leader account, which was the ES. This one called Sim ES. That is my leader account. That triggers the trade, and then the trade copier copies whatever I tell it to based on that trigger. And that did fill properly. Let me show you. So see, that's 4602. That's the Sim account. So it triggered, but it didn't trigger any of the actual accounts that were in the trade copier. So, even at $46, that would have been 5 accounts, $250, but none of them got filled. And that happens when it moves quickly. Wow, that thing really moved. That was a great trade. Because we would have got our 25 handle move for sure. Look at that. Beautiful. And in the meantime, back to ES world, it's just putting your feet to sleep. Nope, we're doing something right now. I don't have enough experience with crude oil. I'm just sort of starting to fool around with it, but I think it's actually a nice thing to have in the in your arsenal for days like this, because it moves pretty well all the time, and it's also not so subject to the whims of news and things like that, but I do have to learn where apparently crude inventories are important. Those come out sometimes at like 9 Eastern, and some other things like that I need to learn about so I don't get stuck in a trade at the wrong time. But other than that, I think it might be a good thing to add, since it's a non-equity market. You know, for instance, like adding the NASDAQ wouldn't do me any good, just because it has similar movement to the ES. But yeah, crude is a pretty nice product. I actually last week off stream I had a Bolonox evaluation that I had bought. I don't remember, in December or something. It was like 93% off. Like cost $15 a month to own it. And I took a 5 contract trade on crude, and finished the entire $3,000 evaluation with that one trade. I just let it run, win or lose. I had no stop on it. I was confident in the strategy. That doesn't mean it always works, but the strategy was. Let me see if I remember. I think it was a short off of the overnight high on the on crude oil, and I just took my stop. I took the no stop on it whatsoever. It was gonna, if it failed, then next month I pay the $15 for it to renew, and that thing just, it took probably 15 or 20 minutes, but that thing just ran all the way, made the $3,000, completed the evaluation. So it does seem like when crude starts moving, it keeps moving. You can see there's a pretty nice big legs in both directions. So again, I need to practice more, learn more, and then see what we can do. Looks like there's something wrong with the way I set up that Nightbot. It's supposed to like invite you to click the like button and all that kind of stuff, and it's just saying error. So ignore it. Another pullback on this crude. All right, let me go back to ES. Okay, we're touching that low of day again. $104 is the number we're looking for off of the 1 hour chart. 104, that's around here. That lines up with our pivot point, which is probably what caused it to reverse there in the first place. When was that? I guess that was is that yesterday? 6, yeah, that was yesterday morning. Sort of a triple bottom here. Does look pretty heavy here. This is value area low that it's bound getting some resistance to. I see a little volume building up down here. She looks heavy. She looks like she wants to pull back, probably at least to this pivot point, I would think. Not confident enough to take a trade off of it, though. Is a lower low. Looking over to my left, I got a order flow, cumulative delta, which I don't really put much faith in, but it's positive, but it's kind of just chopping the same way that the market is. Not really any true. I mean, it's overall it's positive, but there's not a lot of momentum in either direction. I've got too many damn indicators. Every time I see somebody with an idea, and look at the MACD, look at Delta. I mean, it's like I put it up there and then I forget to remove it, and then I end up looking at everything, and then you get paralysis by analysis, as they say. I should just clean these charts and just go to naked charts, maybe just a couple EMAs, and that's all you need. But they're like security blankets for me. This is painful. I'm not even sure it's worth sticking with it. Maybe we'll just call this at 10:30 instead of 11, because this isn't really doing anything worth even looking at. Maybe come back after Powell, maybe for Power Hour. I won't live stream it, but maybe that's the time to trade. Of course, as I say that, now it's starting to move a little bit. But again, until we break out of all this, I mean, just these movements in this area aren't going to help us. We really need to break out above this pivot point, maybe. I don't know, maybe just above this area, like above like in the 120 area, maybe get some movement. I thought maybe we were going to break down hard here, but this crude oil's pretty unruly too. I mean, that was never actually broke through the 105, but it sort of tested it a couple times, and you had all these bearish looking wicks, and all of a sudden it just exploded here. Maybe it's a little more too unruly to day trade. I don't know. It's kind of why I left NASDAQ, because it was so prone to movement, erratic movement. But I mean, look at that chart, obviously, compared to the ES. Well, I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'll stay with it till 10:30, and then I'm going to kill the stream. This is just wasting everybody's time. I don't think there's going to be any trades taken. And I'm not really prone to snappy banter, so I don't think I can keep you entertained just with my commentary. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. This is sort of a reversal pattern setting up on the 5-minute, I suppose. Got a break of this trend here. Where am I? Oh, here they are. Something like this, maybe. Break, new low. Now we're above the EMA. So maybe this is a reversal setup, or it's just more chop. All right, I think I'm going to call it. This is doing nothing. I'm falling asleep over here. So thanks for enduring the last hour with me, guys. Good to see you, Vin. Have a safe rest of your trading day. Try not to get chopped up. That's what I'm going to try not to do. Maybe I'll spend some time learning about trading crude oil so that I can do something with it during these type of days. Anyway, thanks a lot for listening, everybody. I will be back again tomorrow. I'll post this also. I just to give you a heads up, I won't be streaming Friday, Monday, or Tuesday because I will be out of town. But I will be back tomorrow and Thursday, and then off Friday, Monday, Tuesday, back on next Wednesday. But I'll post all that. All right, guys, have a great day. I will see you tomorrow.